Good morning, students. Say your prayer. Uh, Thank you. நான் ஒரு நல்லாசிரியர். நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்து முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். நான் ஒரு நல்லாசிரியர். நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்து முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். நான் ஒரு நல்லாசிரியர். நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்து முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். Okay, students, take your social science book. Yeah, take page number 33. Today we will discuss the effects of the World War II. So in our previous class we have discussed about the causes and the course of the World War II. So in which year the World War II started? Yeah, 1939. Okay, well, it started on 1st September 1939 and came to an end on 2nd September 1945. So on that day only, so Japan formally signed the agreement, so that brought the World War to an end. Okay, so in previous class we discussed about the war in the Asia Pacific region. So just to recall what we have discussed in our previous class. Yeah, we discussed that the aggression of Japan in the Asia Pacific region, especially in the east of Asia. So how Japan attacked and occupied the countries near to her territory. Okay, so before the beginning of World War itself, so Japan started its aggression policy. So she invaded Manchuria, she invaded Beijing in China, and also she captured Nanjing and the regions around Shanghai. So we have discussed that and all in our previous class. And Japan attacked Pearl Harbor. So Pearl Harbor, it is in Hawaii Island that belongs to America. So in order to cripple America's fleet, so Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, but that brought America into Second World War. So till 1941, so America played a neutral role only. But when Japan attacked Pearl Harbor in the year 1941, so it was in December 7. Okay, so when Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, so America entered into Second World War and declared war on Japan. Yeah, so the entry of America so was a big support to the Allied powers, so led by Britain, France. Okay, so but Japan, so before the entry of America, had strongly established its power in the East Asia. So especially she captured the countries like Guam, Philippines, Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaya, and even Burma. And she tried to invade India too. But the entry of America was a big surprise and a big shock to Japan. Okay, so then the battles we discussed, the Battle of Midway, then Battle of Guadalcanal. So in that battle Japan was defeated, but even though Japan defeated in many battles, she refused to surrender. So America developed a secret project, so secret scientific project, so that led to the development of atom bomb. Okay, so first America wanted Japan to surrender, but when Japan refused to surrender, so America dropped atom bomb in the month of August in a city called as Hiroshima. But till Japan refused to surrender, she again dropped another atom bomb on Nagasaki. So we discussed that also. So finally, without any hesitation, so Japan was forced to surrender. So Japan announced the surrender on 15th August 1945 and signed on 2nd September 1945. So on that day itself, the Second World War came to an end. So we have discussed this and all in our previous class. So in today's class, we will discuss about the effects of World War II. So new geopolitical power alignment. So the world was divided into two blocks. Okay, so new geopolitical. So geo means geographical. So geographically and politically. So not geographically, politically, the world was divided into two. Okay, so World War II changed the world in fundamental ways. So the World War II changed the world in basic ways. So the world was polarized into two main blocks. Okay, so the world was polarized. So polarized means to separate or make people separate into two groups with completely opposite opinions. Okay, so that is, so make people separate into two groups. So that is dividing the people into two separate groups with opposite political opinion. Okay, so the world was now divided into two main blocks. Okay, so the world was now, the people of the world was now divided into two main blocks. Okay, so one led by the United States with a anti-communist ideology, and another group led by communist ideology by Russia. Okay, so after World War II, the world was so divided into two groups. So the people of the world, so during that time the world people were divided into two groups. So one group led by America, so that support anti-communist ideology, while the other group led by Russia, USSR, that support the communist ideology. Okay, so the world was now divided into two groups. One group support communism ideology, and another group oppose communism ideology. Okay, so anti-communism and communism. Okay, so communism concept was led by Russia, and anti-communism policy was led by America. Okay, so now the world was divided into two political groups. Even Europe was also divided into two groups, so communist and non-communist. So in this map you can see that is the eastern part of Europe dominated by communism, okay, while the western part of Europe was dominated by non-communism. So eastern countries, okay, as you can see in this map, the red color indicates the communist countries. Okay, so the countries supported by Russia, while the western countries, so which are familiar to you, okay, so Britain, France, Portugal, Spain, so they are led by non-communism principles. Okay, so the Europe continent was also divided into two groups. Eastern Europe was dominated by communism, while the western Europe was dominated by non-communist ideology. Then nuclear proliferation. So proliferation means so rapid increase in number or amount of something. So proliferation means so increasing in number. Yeah, so the nuclear weapons began to increase. So the number of nuclear weapons began to increase. So the United States and the Soviet Union entered into a race to have more nuclear powered weapons. So already so America developed atom bomb and dropped it on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan. Yeah. So after that Russia too developed the nuclear weapon. Yeah. So now the both the countries so began to increase their nuclear weapons. Okay. So both America and Russia began to develop their nuclear weapons. So they built a large stockpile of such weapons. So stockpile means so to collect and keep a largely supply of something. So stockpile means so collect and keep something in large amount. Okay, so both America and Russia developed the nuclear weapons and began to increase the number of nuclear weapons and keep them. Okay, so this picture shows the number of nuclear weapons of various countries. So the number of nuclear weapons so in the various countries, so present day. Yeah, so you can see so how much nuclear weapons were in the stockpile of the various countries. So especially with America and Russia, and also even with India, China, Pakistan also. So now the world countries, all the major power of the world countries have their nuclear weapon. Okay, defense spending skyrocketed in many countries. So for the defense, many countries began to increase their budget. Okay, so many countries began to give importance to their military. Okay, so for that they increase their military strength. Okay, so for that they spend a large amount of money. Okay, so for the defense, many countries began to spend a large amount of money. Okay, so in this map you can see so the red color and the dark red color so indicates the countries which spend more money for their military, so for their defense. So even now also, so India so spend a large amount of money for its defense, because India was surrounded by some of their enemy countries. Yeah. So not only with India, so major countries like China, Russia, America, then England, France, even and Pakistan. So they also spend more money. Yeah, so for their defense purpose. Yeah, so it began in before World War I itself, but after World War II, it increased more. Okay, so based on the geographical and political situation, every country is spending money more for their defense. international agencies. So many international agencies, in particular the United Nations, the World Bank, and the International Monetary Fund came into existence. Okay, so many international agencies like United Nations, the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund came into existence, providing a forum, so providing a basic for countries large and small. Even the country may be large or small. Okay, so they have their role in these international agencies. So after World War II, the colonial powers were forced to give independence to former colonies in a process of decolonization. So already we have discussed decolonization. So what do you mean by decolonization? So just to say simply, yeah, transfer of power from the countries. So the colonial countries to indigenous national countries were called as decolonization. That is transfer of power from the foreign people to the local people. So to the native people or to the nationalist people was called as decolonization. Okay. So now the colonial powers were forced to give independence to the former colonies. Okay, so in this way, India was the first country to achieve independence. Okay, so after World War II, India was the first country to achieve her independence. So due to the process of decolonization. So in which year India achieved her independence? Yeah, 1947. Okay, so colonial powers were forced to give independence to the colonized countries. Holocaust and its fallout. So Holocaust means it is a word used to describe the genocide of nearly 6 million Jews by the Germans during World War II. So Holocaust is a word used to describe the killing of Jews. So killing of millions of Jews. Okay, so genocide means so killing or destroying a particular race. Okay, so particular gene of race. Okay, so Hitler wanted to destroy the Jews. So Jews community completely. Okay, so during World War II, so Hitler whenever captured any country means, so first he captured the Jews and sent them to the camp and tortured them and killed them. So his policy, the policy of the Nazis was to destroy the Jews completely. So annihilating the Jews. So annihilating means destroying someone completely. Okay. So destroying the Jews was one of the main items on the political agenda of Hitler and the Nazis. So the main political agenda of Hitler and the Nazis was destroying the Jews completely. So why they want to destroy the Jews completely? So already there were some anti-Jews feeling which was common in Germany and in fact throughout Europe. So there was anti-Jewish feelings among the people of Europe and in Germany. So why means, so Jews were scattered all over Europe, so all across Europe, and many had become prominent in business and in performing art and professional field. Okay, so Jews were scattered, so spread all over the Europe, and they had become prominent. So they played a leading role in business and in performing arts and professional fields. So money lending was a major business activity. So giving money. Okay, so giving money, that is money lending was their important business activity. Okay, but this strengthened the prejudice against them. So this concept, so this thing, so the money lending activity of Jews, so created a feeling of prejudice. So prejudice means here we can say, so the feeling against them. Okay, so the money lending activity of Jews created a feelings against them among the European people. So that's why, so it was common. Okay, so Hitler used this activity. So Hitler used these feelings, anti-Jewish feelings among the people of Germany, and he want to remove the Jews from the world completely. So William Shakespeare, so a famous English dramatist who wrote many novels and drama. Okay, so his famous play, The Merchant of Venice, so clearly depicts the dislike and distrust of Jews among the people. So Shakespeare's play, The Merchant of Venice, clearly depicts the dislike and distrust of Jews among the people. So why the European people so dislike and they won't trust Jews? Okay, so this was clearly shown in Shakespeare's play The Merchant of Venice. So the Jews were deprived. So deprived means so to prevent somebody from having or doing something, especially something important. Yeah. So deprive means so prevent somebody from having or doing something. Okay. So the Jews were prevented from having. So from what they were deprived? They were deprived of civil rights. Their properties were confiscated. So confiscated means to officially take something away from somebody. Okay, so confiscated means so their properties were taken away officially. Yeah, and many were confined. So then many were sent to ghettos. So ghettos means area of your town where Jews were forced to live in the past. So areas of your town where the Jews were forced to live in the past. Okay, eventually the Nazis came up with the notion of the final solution, which was to exterminate the Jews completely. So finally the Nazis came up with a policy. So came up with a notion. So notion means an idea or a belief. Okay, so finally the Nazis came up with the idea or belief of the final solution. So their concept, their idea was called as final solution. So that idea was to exterminate, so to destroy the Jews completely. Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So after the World War II, especially after the Holocaust, the United Nations Organization in its charter. So charter means a written grant by the sovereign or legislative power of a country by which its rights are defined. So charter means a written grant by a sovereign body in which its rights are defined. Okay, so the UNO in its charter pledged to promote universal respect for and observance of human rights and fundamental freedoms for all without distinction to race, sex, language and religion. So United Nations Organization in its charter so clearly declared that she would promote universal respect of human rights and observance of human rights and fundamental freedoms for all without any discrimination. So the UN efforts to protect human rights on a global basis resulted in the constitution of United Nations Commission on Human Rights. So the UNO's efforts to protect human rights on world basis so resulted in the constitution of United Nations Commission on Human Rights. A committee constituted under its auspices. So auspices means in its good time. Yes, in good time was chaired by Eleanor Roosevelt. So she was wife of late President Franklin Roosevelt. So late President means yeah, he passed away. So Franklin Roosevelt, so the former president of America. So his wife Eleanor Roosevelt was the chairperson of the committee constituted for the Declaration of Human Rights. Okay, so the other members of the commission included Charles Malik of Lebanon, P.C. Chung of Nationalist China, John Humphrey of Canada, and Reine Cassin of France. So the Universal Declaration of Human Rights was its important contribution. So the Constitution's important contribution was the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So the Universal Declaration of Human Rights set forth fundamental human rights in 30 articles. So totally there are 30 articles in the Universal Declaration of Fundamental Rights. So this picture shows the chairperson Eleanor Roosevelt in center and the members of the commission. So from top, so left side it was Charles Malik, then right side it was P.C. Chung, and the bottom, the left side he was John Humphrey, and right side he was Reine Cassin of France. So Charles Malik belonged to Lebanon, P.C. Chung belonged to China, then John Humphrey belongs to Canada, and Reine Cassin belongs to France. So they were the members of the commission. So the committee which was constituted for the Declaration of United Nations Commission on Human Rights. So the UN adopted this historic charter on 10th December 1948. The United Nations adopted this historic charter on 10th December 1948. So that's why the International Human Rights Day was celebrated on 10th December. Okay, so you know the International Day on Human Rights. So Human Rights Day celebrated on 10th December. So already you have learned in your previous classes. So in 8th standard, 9th standard itself, you have learned the Human Rights Day celebrated on 10th December. Okay, so provisions of some 90 national constitutions since 1948 according to the Franklin and Eleanor Roosevelt Institute in New York can be traced to this declaration. Okay, so in this declaration you can found some of the countries provisions. So some of the constitution of various countries can be found in this declaration. Okay, so some countries, especially nearly 90 countries constitution provisions can be traced in this declaration. Then birth of Israel. A major outcome of the Holocaust was the creation of the state of Israel as a homeland for Jews. While this was historically the original home of the Jews during Roman times. So a new country, Israel, was created. So Israel, it is the homeland for Jews. So during Roman Empire, during the Roman time, the Jews had their homeland in Israel. Okay, so that's why. So in order to give them a separate country, the world countries created a new country in Asia. So you can see in this map between Africa and Asia, a country was created. So that was Israel. Okay, but it led to a series of conflict between the people who are already living there. Okay, so that topic we will discuss in the next lesson. So what was the conflict between the Israel and the countries around them? Okay, so Israel was a country created for the Jews. Okay, so in order to give them a separate country, this country was created. So already it was told the Jews' homeland was Israel. So they lived in that country during the period of Roman Empire. Okay, okay students, today's class over. So today we have discussed about the effects of World War II. So if you have any doubt, contact me. So homework. So take page number 38. Sixth Romater, first question. Analyze the effects of the World War II. Take page number 33. So see the heading, just below the map of Japan. Effects of the war. So that fully. So new geopolitical power alignment you have to write fully. Then nuclear proliferation you have to write fully. International agencies. So it includes 2 paragraphs. You have to write it fully. Yes, it is very important question. Read well. Yes, and write as a test. Okay, so in your homework note itself, write like a test. Okay, then textbook reading. So read this question itself as a textbook reading. Okay, students. Thank you. Have a nice day.